channel. My name is Peter and I am a certified front-end web developer. Alright, so I uploaded a couple of videos days back. Alright, so and in that video I showed you two courses for absolute beginners. So please, if you have not watched those videos, please go back. They are on my channel. Go back and watch them so as to enable you follow in this class. Alright, so today in today's tutorial, this is what we're doing. As you can see on my PC screen, on the left is my logo and on the right I have the links there. So as I hover on the links, you can see the over effects. Here are the text. Alright, and these are the buttons. So if I hover on the buttons, you can see the effects. Alright, so let's get started. On my desktop screen here, we have our folder here. So let's open our folder. So in our folder we have index.html, style.css, and we have our images file here in the folder. Alright, if you don't know how to open index.html and style.css up to now, please go back to my first video. I showed you guys how to do it, so go back to my first video on absolute beginners. Alright, you see on how we saved the index.html and style.css from the Sublime text. So if you open this our image file here, you will see some images inside. Okay, alright, so here in our Sublime text now, you can see that I've already opened Sublime text folder here in our index.html. You can see the title saved as second project. You can see the link. I've linked the HTML to the CSS. So as usual, you right click it and open in browser. You can see how it looks, right? Just having the second project here. So let's start. So let's just put our header. Alright, so let's go to our CSS. You can see our CSS. I told you that hash is what? The general body. Put a padding 0, margin 0, font family, use sans serif. Alright, so let's style our header now. Let's give it a height of 100 VH. This time we are using background image. Alright, background image. In the CSS, want to put background images, URL, put images. You know, we saved our images inside our our image folder. If you come back to our folder, you can see that our images are inside here. So we write it as images slash the name of the image you want to use. So let's check it. Okay, I want to use this one, so it's on 4, and you can see the properties. You can see the item type, right? JPEG file. So we'll put the name of the image and the property of the image. This is the name of the image on 4, and the property is a JPEG image. So you save it, go to your browser and you refresh. You can see the images are repeating itself, right? So come here, we put background repeat, no repeat. Alright, so check it now. Alright, you can see. So put background size, cover. So you should take the whole screen. Alright, background size cover, we'll put background position, center. Alright, so save it, go to your website and refresh. Alright, you can see this height is 100 VH. The VH means view height. Okay, so it depends on the screen you are using. It takes from the top of the screen to the bottom of the screen. If you are using a mobile phone, it takes the top of the mobile phone to the bottom of the mobile phone. So that's the VH. The VH is the view height. If you come back to our website, you can see that it is in top to bottom. So let me show you something. Let's inspect it. Alright, so you can see these are different types of screen here. So let me go to iPhone X. You can see it's taking 100 VH off the screen here. Okay, let's check another one. You can see this is a different screen, but it takes the top to the bottom. All right, so the VH is the view height from the top to bottom, so long as it's 100 view height. Okay, so now let's go back to our HTML. So inside here we open a nav tag. So inside the nav tag, let's put images inside. Sorry, image. So it will be images slash, we want to use the second image, is logo dot png. It is a png file. Okay, so save it, go back to your website and refresh. All right, you can see that the image is very big. All right, so we can come here now and put, okay, let's put this nav. We're going to come back to it. All right, so under the nav, put our header image. All right, so let's put height of 35 pixels. It's too big, we want it to be small. Right, all right, okay. Well, now you can see that it's showing here, but the background, you can see that the background is very, so if you look at the screen, you can see that you cannot even see the logo well, right, because the background is very light. So let's put a linear gradient on the image. So yeah, come and put your linear gradient. All right, so put a bracket. So inside you put a transparent color. RGBA is for transparent color. So let's put 12, 9, 0.8. all right, so this one you copy it, so outside the linear gradient bracket put, all right, can you see? So let's save it now. You can see now that there is a linear gradient of transparent dark there. All right, so and now we can see our logo clearly there. All right, so under, now let's go back to our HTML. So under it, let's put our UL is on ordered list, put our list li list. So let's put a, all right, a. So inside the a we'll put home. Let's duplicate it. All right, about us, yeah, put, let's say works, and here also let's make use of contact us. All right, so let's put nav here, showing you that there is a header nav image. You can see that the image is inside the nav. All right, though it works, but I want you guys to understand it this way, that this is the parent. So you can see that, okay, just take a look at the image. You can see that the image is inside where the nav, and the nav is inside the header. That's why we put it as header nav, showing that the header is a parent, nav also is a parent to the image. All right, so our nav now, let's put our nav, let's put, all right, so just save it, save this one also, go here and see it here now. Can you see? All right, so let's style our nav now. So our nav, let's put a height of 100 VH. All right, width of 80%. So let's put width of 80%. All right, so let me explain something. Let's put the background of what? Let's see, we want a background of red. All right, sorry, not VH pixels. All right, so let's view it on our web page. Okay, this is how it looks like, right? So come here, put display. Now take a look at the height of the distance is 100 pixels height, and take a look at the width is 80%. It's not extending to the right side, all right? So but we want to align it in the center, so let's just put our margin auto. So the margin auto enables it to come to the center. I can see the space at the left is equal to the space at the right, though the width is 80%. All right, so let's put a display flex. All right, so justify content, space between. We want the two contents inside to be like this. You can see that there's a space between them. You can see from the left side, you can see this one is on the right side and this one is on the left side, but there's a space between. All right, so let's start this one. Okay, should be nav ul. All right, so we don't necessarily need to style the ul. All right, so let's leave that one. Let's style the li now. Let's put list style. You know what I told you of list style? Okay, the reason we didn't style the ul, you know, it's supposed to be either nav ul before we style the ul li. So let's start the header nav ul. All right, but we didn't style it because where we want our work to be is already there. Okay, so there's no need to style it. So we have removed. Now we are styling the li. We left the ul. All right, now we are styling the what? The header nav ul li. You can see that header is a parent, nav is a parent, ul is a parent to what? To the li. If you check here the index, you will see that the header is a parent to nav, also a parent. You can see that the nav is a parent to ul, and the ul is a parent to these li's. We have like 4 li's inside. Okay, just how I was styling it like this: header nav ul li. Okay, list down no. Let's put display inline flex. Okay, so you can see it. Inline flex, and let's put margin right. They are closely together, so let's put margin right of about, let's say, 40 pixels. Okay, so if you view it now, you see how it looks. All right, so let's come back to our header nav here. So let's put align items center. It means vertically to the center. We need to align it vertically to the center. You can see now that you can see from the top to bottom here. You can see that the content inside, the space down is way bigger than the space up. In fact, there's no space up here, but there are spaces down here, right? So as you press align item, you save it and you view it. Can you see the space up here is equal to the space? So that's the work of the align items, and align items can only work when you have displayed flex. All right, you display flex, so if you align items, it will align vertically to the center. All right, so let's remove the background. We don't need the background. Okay, all right, let's remove the background because we don't need it. So let's style our a now. You can see that our a is inside our li, right? So it will be header nav ul li a. All right, so it will be text decoration. Text decoration is down on the line on the text. Text decoration none. Put color, want orange. All right, want orange. So let's put font size. Sorry, let's put font size of 14 pixels. So let's go back to our web page and view it. All right, this is how it looks now. Okay, so now let's put the over. So over is a effect in the CSS. Simply means as I over on it with my mouse, what should happen? Okay, we want our color from orange to white. Sorry, this is a color code for white. All right, so this is it. So over simply means as I hover on it, as the mouse touches it, what will happen? We want the color to be white. That's what happened here. So as we hover on the ULLIA, it should what? It should turn to white. So it's too fast. So let's put transition of 0.3 seconds. Okay, so let's go back to our website and view it. You can see that the way it's coming up now, there's a little bit of delay there. So now I want to pull that white line underneath the A. So come here, copy it again, put our A. That is an after effect. All right, so after, so we put content, we just quote it, it will be empty there like that. All right, so put display block background, want white background, height 3 pixels. Okay, so width 100%. Let's see how it will look like. All right, so let's put a margin top of 5 pixels. Okay, so if you view it again, you see it. Okay, there's a space here. All right, so let's put, so now let's come here now. We don't want it to show, so let's come here now and put let's put this. All right, so now let's put a over here. What this simply means is that as I over on the A, you can see this ULLIA over, right? As we over on the A, what should happen? Okay, we want the width to be 100%. all right, we want the width to be 100%, so that means here we should be what, 0 now. All right, so watch it now, 0%, right? So as we over on it, the width should show. All right, so now let's put the transition here, so we'll see it where 0.3 seconds. All right, so see it, can you see it's coming from the left to the right, coming from the left, coming from width 0 to width 100, but I want it to come from the center. So let's just put a margin here, auto. So now let's see what it does. All right, can you see the way it's coming out? It's coming from the center, extending to the left and to the right. All right, so let's go back to our HTML here. So let's open a div, give it a class of container. So you press a tab, forms a class of container. All right, so inside there put a h2, let's say hello world. All right, so underneath it, let's open a p tag, like dummy text lorem. After typing lorem, you press your tab. All right, so we remove this one. Yes. All right, so here I'll put a break. Break means I want it to go to the next line, that this one should be in the line, so it breaks from this side to the next line. So let's put a break here also, so it breaks to the next line. So inside our div class container, so let's put a button. So let's open a button. So inside the button, put h4. All right, so let's give it register. All right, so under it put a span. All right, so this one, duplicate it and put it under. Okay, this one, change it to what, login. Login. So you save it, go to your web page and you view it. So this is how it will look. All right, so but we want it to be at the center, so we come back to our header here. So we put the display flex, align items vertically center, and justify content horizontally center. All right, so let's go back to our web page and view it. Wow, you can see that everything is at the center. The you can see the nav bar is now yeah, the nav is on the center, and these are our div class 1. They are aligned in the center. So we are going to do something now. So let's come back here. So let's put in our header nav now. So let's put position absolute. I will explain it later as we go on. Top 0. All right, save it, view it in your web page. You can see that it's now back to where it was before. I will explain the meaning of position absolute for you as we go on. All right, so now guys, let's style our container class. So in the last class I told you that to recognize a class is not a tag. So we can't just say container like where we are doing it. So you can see we are giving it header, nav, ULLIA. All these ones, they are tags, they are recognized HTML tag, but a class is not a tag. So for the CSS to recognize a class, we must specify it with what? With dot. Now be dot container. All right, so that it will work. You get? If it's an ID you are using here, if it's an ID, let's say it's an ID like this, it will be hash whatsoever the ID name is. All right, now you can see that we are using a class, so the CSS recognizes a class as dot and recognizes an ID as what? Hash. But in this case we are using a class, so it's dot container. All right, so put a width of 60%. all right, put a width of 60%, put margin auto. Okay, put a margin auto to be at the center. Put a what? Text align center. We want our text to be aligned at the center. All right, so if you look closely, we see that the text they are aligned at the left. So let's put text align center. Now you can see all our text are aligned center. So let's put color of white. All right, so can you see it's telling you that now we are styling the container, and you can see the content inside the container, right? We have all this one, so we put a color of white. That means everything, every text inside this container should have a color of white. So now let's style our h2. So it will be header.container h2. We are not using .h2. Why? Because h2 is a recognized HTML tag. All right, so header.container is a class h2. all right, meaning that header is a parent. You can see header is a parent, and the div class container is inside the header, so it will be header.container what? h2. all right, so header is a parent and container also is a parent to h2. all right, so we'll put a margin bottom. We want the space at the bottom to be what? We want the margin bottom to be 20 pixels. all right, so save it, refresh it. You see that the space from this one to this one is very close, so we put a margin. Can you see it forms a margin bottom space of what? Of 20 pixels. And we want the color to be orange as the links. all right, and we want the font size to be 35 pixels. all right, so you can see the color will change and the font will be big. all right, so we want to style the p now. You can see now I want to style this p now. So let's come back here, put our container header p. all right, so put a margin bottom. Oh no, sorry, that should be a curly bracket. Put a margin bottom of margin bottom of 30 pixels. Alright, so put font size, we want it to be 14 pixels. So save it, refresh it in the browser. Now you can see how it looks like. Now we are left with our button. Alright, so let's go and style our button now. So come here, put button. Button is a tag. So want background, we don't want a background in our button, so put background none. Alright, put outline none also. So put border of 1 px solid, let's use orange. Alright, so let's see how it looks like. So can you see it? You can see that the border is 1 pixel solid orange. There's no background and there is no outline there. Alright, so should put width of 150 pixels, height of, let's say, 40 pixels. So save it and view it on the web page. Now this is how it looks like. So put a color white. Alright, font weight, want it to be bold. Let's put the font weight bold. Okay, so put border radius. I explained border radius in the last class, if you would remember. 50 pixels. What the border radius does is that it gives this a curve. So refresh it. Alright, so this is how it looks like now. You must always save your work before it can reflect on the browser. Alright, so let's put a margin right here. There are 2 buttons, so let's give them a space. So margin right, let's say 20 pixels. Save it and come to your website and view it. Now you can see that there's a space between the 2 buttons we have underneath the p text. Alright, cursor, pointer. Alright, so let's put position relative. Alright, okay, so now let's style our h4. The h4 is inside the button. Alright, so it will be like this. Let's header, alright, button h4. So let's put position absolute. Alright, so this is how it looks on the browser. The other time I said I will explain the meaning of position absolute. Alright, so basically in front-end web designing we have that's using in style. Now in CSS we have 3 main positions. We have the position relative, as you can see here. We have position absolute, as you can see here, and we have another position, it's called fixed. So also we have another position called sticky, but these are the 3 main positions we use: the relative, the absolute, and the fixed. You see it in all websites, and that's sticky, you barely see it. Alright, so the difference between them is that if I put a position absolute, it means I can put the content anywhere in the screen I want to put it. For example, let's say we don't have this position relative, right? We don't have a position relative here, so let's say we'll put a position absolute here. Alright, let's say top 0, left 0, height 100%, and width 100%. Alright, so like I said, position means I can put it anywhere in my screen. So it's telling me that now we have placed it anywhere in our screen. We're putting a position of absolute. I want it to start from the top 0, from the left 0. That means you start from the top 0 and from the left 0, and you have a height of what? 100% and a width of 100%. So let's go back to our web page. So let's view it. Alright, we won't see it. So let's just put the background so that we'll see what we are talking about. So let's put a background of red. Alright, so can you see it? It's top 0, left 0, height of 100% and a width of what? 100%. So that is what that's what is called position absolute. Alright, so position absolute gives it, put this in a place that, okay, I want it to be position absolute. I want it to be anywhere in my screen. Alright, so that's why it's taking the left 0 and top 0. So what the position relative does is that it acts as an enclosement. Let me use that English. Or it acts as a covering. You understand? So you can see, let's go back to this side now. You can see that the H4 is in the what? Is in the button. So the button is a parent. The button is a parent to the H4. So if I put a position relative in the parent of what I've given absolute, you see that it comes like this now. Can you see it? This is what it forms. What the position absolute does is that position absolute puts it in a place that, okay, I want it to be in anywhere in my screen. You understand? Alright, so that was what happened. So if you now put in the parent, because the button is the parent in this case, so in the parent, if you put a position of relative, it means that, okay, although you are taking a top of 0, you're taking a left of 0, you're taking a height of 100%, taking a width of 100%, it will be formed in the button. You understand? That's in the parent in this case. You understand, Abby? That the height of the parent is what? 40 pixels. The width of the parent is 150 pixels. So long as you have put a position relative in this case, now it will take 100% of 150 and it will take what? 100% of what? The height, which is 40 pixels. Alright, so that's why the thing is not going out anymore. But if we do not put a position relative, let's say we remove the position relative, it will take the entire height of the full screen. You understand? You take the height of the full screen 100 pixels and the width of the full screen 100 pixels, as we have cautioned it, or as we have coded it to be here. You understand? So if we go back and do it that same way, you can see that it's taking the 100% height and the width of the whole website, but we don't want it to be so. That's why we put the word a position relative, meaning that we want it to take only 100% height of what? The parent, which is the button. And you can see that if this one should take 100% height of the button, it will be 150 pixels, and if you take 100% height, that 100% width, it will be 150 pixels. Take 100% height, it will be what? 40 pixels. Alright, you take 100% of 40 pixels, the height and the width, take 100% of 150 pixels. So that's what position relative does. Position relative does, what position relative does is that it does not make it to go out of the parent. You understand? This is the content inside the parent. The parent is the button. We have a content page for inside, and we have put a what? A position absolute. It means that, okay, I want to be in anywhere I want to be, but putting a position relative, we have conditioned it that, okay, although you can be in anywhere, but you will not go outside the parent. All right, so that's what this thing does now. So it has conditioned it to be where? To be inside the parent, although it has a free will. It can be anywhere. You can see that it's taking the full length of this thing. You know, we won't see it here because of the what? Of the border radius. Let's say we don't have border radius here. All right, you can see that now you can see that it's taking the width 100% and the height 100%. All right, so and I mentioned, so let's go back to put our position to put our border radius, and I mentioned something of about fixed. So the last position is fixed. Fixed means whether you put relative or no relative, where I want to be, that's where I will be. All right, so relative we just position fixed do not care anymore. It's like whether you put relative for the button or not, I will still be where I want to be. So that's the difference between the position relative. So without absolute, the position relative could be meaningless, so to say. All right, could be meaningless. All right. So but if you put an absolute, so that's where the position relative comes about, that we must, if we don't want it to go out of the parent, we'll not put what, a position relative on the parent, so it will take the shape. All right, I hope you understand that. So let's put a display flex. We want the content inside the h4. You know, we have a text inside the h4. We want the text to align in the center, so let's put align item center vertically and justify content center horizontally. So let's go and view it now. Can you see the text now? They are in the center. All right, so we don't need the background, so let's remove the background. All right, so save it and refresh it. So this is how it looks now. All right, so in our h4 now, let's put z index of, let's say, 2. Z index is, I want it to be on top, you understand? Let's say I have 2 components now, one is under and one is on top of it. So if I put a z index 1 or 2, it will go above what is on top, you understand? We'll put in some content, so let's just put our z index there. Now let's give our h4 an over, so we come here now and just put it like this. All right, yeah, now putting over here. All right, this simply means when I touch the button, okay, it should over, my h4 should over and have a color of what, let's say, want our color to be white also. Did you get? So you see, okay, it's right already. So let's just say we want our color to be black. All right, can you see? What it simply means that when I over on the button, my h4 should what, have a color of black. So save it, go to your website and view it. See, when I over on the button, can you see? I've not even touched the h4. When I over on the button, my h4 should have a color of white. There are 2 buttons here. When I over on the button, my h4 should have a color of black. So now let's style our span. All right, so it will be, so span is a tag. All right, so put position, sorry, it should be a curly bracket, position absolute. Now I explained absolute, top 0, left 0, let's say height 100%, width, let's say 150%. All right, so these are it look like. I want a background of what, orange. So this is how it will look like. Can you see? Okay, the width is 150 pixels. So can you see it? So now let's come back to our button. Let's put overflow here in our button, hidden. Understand? The overflow should be hidden. Now you can see that this is the width of the button. The width is 150 pixels. You get? So, and we gave that one will do a width of what, 150%, meaning that it will pass 100. To pass 100 and form 150%. That's why it was overlapping. So we gave the button overflow hidden. All right, so now this is what we want to do. Let us assume that we have not given the parent. You know, the parent is you know what I just explained now is button, right? Assume that we will not give it a position of relative. Now let's remove the relative, let's save it and view it. Can you see it's forming like this? And you can see the text also is extending past the screen because it's 150. all right, so that's what it does. So once we give it a relative, the parent a relative, you see that it won't go out of the space of the parent. You get? So the height of the parent is 40 pixels and the width of the parent is what, 150 pixels. You can see it's 150 pixels. So the way the H4 did not go out of the parent, that's how the span also do not go out of the parent, because both of them, they are in the parent of what button. Alright, so I explained fixed that if we have a fixed position, no matter whether the parent is relative, whether I put 100 relative position in the parent, it must what go out, because it's a fixed position. Fixed position does not follow any principles. It works the way it works. It's fixed and it's fixed. So now this is what we want to do now. Let's just put width of 0 and we'll put the over. You get, so it's having a width of 0%, meaning that we can't see it. So this simply means when I over on the button, the span should have a what? A width now of what? 150%. Alright, so save it, refresh it on your browser. Now this is it. So once I over on it, can you see that's a width? But let's put a transition here for 1 second. Alright, so we can see the animation where, so once I over on it, can you see it's coming from left to right? Alright, so now let's put here, let's put the border radius of 50 pixels, 50 pixels, 0. This simply means 0. It should form, that means there should be no border radius on the top left. This one is the top right, 50 pixels border radius. This one is the bottom right, and this one is the what? Bottom left. So it should not be like this now. So save it, go ahead and view it in your website. So once you can you see the curve? Can you see the curve now? Alright, so that's how. So, and this is our button now. Let's put a transition here of, this is 0.8 seconds. Alright, so guys, this is all about the tutorial. Alright, you can see it's very simple. Just follow the process from bit to bit, understand it, and share your comments. Please guys, I want you guys to comment on the video. Please don't forget to subscribe, also like, view, share. Please, thank you so much. And I'll be dropping some amazing videos also. So if you have not watched the first video, like I said, please go back and watch the first video. It will enable you to understand this one. Alright, so thank you so much for your time. I still remain Umunu Adafipita, the front end web developer. Thank you so much.